Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to provide you with some instructions on how to complete Assessment 11 without having to print it off and take a picture or scan it for your submission. So you should be able to complete this assessment entirely through the original Word document. Go ahead and download the assessment and open the attached Word document. You should see basically what I currently have on the screen. Now, you'll notice that the most dominant feature in this assessment is going to be this 5x5 grid of red and blue squares. There are a total of 25 squares in this grid, and your job is to basically break the grid up into 5 separate groups of 5 squares each. And you want to do so in such a way that in at least 3 of these 5 groups of squares, the blue squares are a majority. In other words, for 3 of your 5 groups of 5, at least 3 of the 5 squares have to be blue. So, for example, if we started up here in the left and just drew a straight line going all the way down, that would give me one district of 5 squares, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you'll notice that in this district, only 2 of the squares are blue. That means that the red squares have a majority. 3 of the 5 squares in that district would be red, which would be 1 point towards the red team. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that the blue team has at least 3 points, that the blue team has at least 3 squares, and at least 3 of the 5 districts of 5 squares each. Now, what I want you to do is to basically designate your separate districts using the line that I have already inserted into the document for your convenience. You can do this by basically grabbing the line, clicking it with the left click, and then dragging it to the appropriate place on the grid. So if I wanted my first district to go directly across the top, I would create that like so. And I now know this is my first district. But I need to identify at least 4 other districts. So what I would do then is I would click on this, I would left click my line, and I would push Control C, right? Push Control, hold it, and then press C. And that's going to copy the line. Then press Control V, and lo, you have another line. And you can repeat this until you have enough lines to identify each of your districts. In this case, I'm just going to draw my districts straight across the line, right? Now, this would probably be a fair way to solve the problem, but that would also mean that the red party is going to win a majority of the districts. And as a member of the blue party, we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that we get at least 3 out of the 5 districts on our side in order to give our party an advantage in electoral politics. So it's not enough just to draw your lines straight across. You're going to need to bend them a little bit. And the way you're going to do that is by interacting with these 3 circles that you see at different points on the line. So, for example, let's say that I want my district to encompass this square, this square, this square, this square, and this square. That would give me 4 blue squares in my district of 5 squares total. So I would score the point. How do I go about doing that? Well, what I would do is I would put my line in here, and then I would use these points to bend it and to contract it so that it assumes the shape that I want. Now you're going to have to tweak this around a little bit, play with it until you get used to it. But basically what I have just done here is identified that I want these squares to be together in one district. Now there are a couple of rules that you have to follow in drawing the boundaries of your district. And the line is going to make sure that you comply with those rules. So the first rule is that your district has to be consecutive. The second rule is your district has to be contiguous. What that means is that each square in your district needs to share at least one side with at least one other square in that district, right? So that means that you can't have a district that is comprised of one square up here, another right here, then one down here, and one in this corner, and one over here. That's not allowed. That's not a continuous district, and it's not contiguous, right? The second rule, stipulating that it has to be contiguous, again, basically means that each square in your district has to share at least one side with one other square. Not one corner. You can't go diagonal. You have to go straight. So you're going to connect each of the 5 squares in any given district using only straight lines and right angles. Again, if you use the line that I've already inserted into the document for you, you'll have to follow these rules because this doesn't really allow you to bend it so that it spans diagonally or covers non-contiguous squares. Okay, so that pretty much summarizes it. Remember, we've got our grading rubric down here that will explain the scoring. Don't forget to answer the question on page 2. Good luck. I hope you have a lot of fun. And just so you know, there are actually multiple ways that you can solve this problem. So if you figure it out and you want to challenge yourself, feel free to download a second copy and to try another one, but please only turn one in. If you're interested in figuring out other ways, well, let me know in the questions forum on our discussion board, and maybe I'll identify a few different solutions to this puzzle. All right, y'all have a good day.